Hi, folks. Can you believe we're posting this often? He's Tony.
And he's the law.
And we are here today to talk about the possibility of a Major League Baseball season. Before we get started, what you drinking today, Tone?
Very, very unique here. I'm a big Johnny Walker guy, and I've got a 10-year age Johnny Walker blended Scotch, aged in rye barrels. So very interesting. Hats off to the Johnny Walker people because this is excellent.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I'm a little at the other end of the spectrum here. I know that I got to talk about the dirty, stinking Astros today, so I got my angry juice. I'm going cold turkey today. It is wild turkey.
Oh wow, that's the opposite of cold turkey right there.
This is the Wild Turkey 101 Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. In the words of the great Dave Chappelle, it'll get you drunk.
Yes, it will. Wow, yeah, that's a throwback, man. All right, here's to you. Salute. Damn.
Salute, my friend. All right.
So we gonna have baseball or what? What are we doing here?
That's a great question. So here's the proposal that came out now, and I think this is unique. Instead of going National League and American League, we're going to go Grapefruit League and Cactus League, just the way that they do spring training. They're going to have games in spring training parks. This, of course, is all hypothetical. If testing becomes widespread, if we're not here to talk about all that. We're here to talk some baseball. So if they get that off the ground, one league in Florida, one league in Arizona. The players can social distance by sitting in the stands. Obviously, they won't be letting fans into the ballpark. There's a part of me that loves this because I love when sports get uniquely creative. Like, I've never been a NASCAR fan, but I appreciate that, like, twice a year they do these road races where, it's basically like off-road on NES all of a sudden. They got to turn left, they got to turn right, they're on dirt, you can't see a darn thing. It's funny to me. I've always wanted to see, like, PGA players play against each other on mini golf courses.
Yeah, let them screw around with a windmill for a half hour. See how that goes.
So, if we can't get real baseball, then hey, I'm in support of this. I'll watch it. But here's the fun thing, or the interesting thing at least. This is a massive, massive realignment. So right now we're just going to preview a possible hypothetical Major League Baseball season. Grapefruit League, Cactus League. I'm going to call out the divisions, and we'll talk for a couple minutes about each one. We'll set up our playoff brackets and decide who's going to win the World Series this year.
Or whatever they're going to call it. Would they call it the World Series, or would it have some sort of, grapefruit cactus bowl something name?
That would be fantastic if they just called it the Grapefruit Cactus Showdown or something like that.
Oh wow, this is bizarre. This is bizarre. Okay, so yeah, lay it out for us. Let's see what we got.
All right, so let's start here with what I think is going to be the easiest division to call. You've got we're going to start on the East Coast in the Grapefruit League. The Grapefruit League North. Here are your teams. You have the New York Yankees. You have the Philadelphia Phillies, the Pittsburgh Pirates, the Toronto Blue Jays, and the Detroit Tigers.
Wow, they're really mixing it up, aren't they? Wow.
So Yankees, Philly, Pittsburgh, Toronto, Detroit. Last year, the Phillies were a perfect even, 81 and 81. Pittsburgh, Toronto, and Detroit all each accounted for less than 70 wins. Is there any world where the Yankees don't sleepwalk to the pennant here?
Well, I mean, this offseason, the Phillies are much improved. And I don't know that they could just walk away from the Phillies if they were all of a sudden thrust into a division with them. Considering they're two teams that wouldn't normally see each other a lot. And I'm assuming if they're going to do this, it's going to be the same sort of thing where, you play a bunch of games with the people that are in your northern division there, right? Am I right in assuming that?
Yeah, there would be no interleague play until the World Series if it was safe to travel cross country by that point. So they're going to squeeze as many games as they can, maybe 100, 120 games within these. And these divisions were all selected by where the ballparks are. So basically they can all take buses or drive their own cars to these away stadiums within their own divisions. So
right. So okay. So that's So in a world where the Phillies and the Yankees don't see each other very often, the Phillies are much improved, and well, Joe Girardi, right? They have the one guy who knows the Yankees probably better than anybody else in the league who isn't actually still a part of the Yankees.
That's a great point.
The Yankees are still, I think, far and away the better team, but do they sleepwalk through it? I don't think so. I think that Girardi is shrewd enough, especially with his much improved roster, that it's certainly not out of the question that the Phillies could take that division.
All right. I'm saying Yankees 1, Phillies 2. You want to get bold here?
Which is probably right.
Okay.
I mean, I'll for the sake of if we're going to do a future episode about who was right, who was wrong, I'll put Phillies on top and say Yankees 2.
Ooh, all right.
Just so we have some healthy competition going on, but it's most likely going to play out Yankees first, I would say.
All right, Grapefruit League South. You've got the Boston Red Sox, the Minnesota Twins, the Atlanta Braves, the Tampa Bay Rays, and the Baltimore Orioles.
Wow, besides the Orioles, that one's actually pretty intriguing, isn't it?
It really is. I see it as a three-way race between Minnesota, Atlanta, and Tampa. I think Boston falls out of it early. They don't have Mookie Betts, et cetera, et cetera. You know, they've gotten hit hard the past couple of years. So, if it were a full-length season, I would say I'd call Minnesota to fall out, and it would be between Atlanta and Tampa Bay. I don't know what's going to happen in this shortened season, but for our purposes right now, I'm going to say Atlanta takes the division, Tampa's in second, Minnesota's a close third.
And you know what? And once again, I'll go a little contrarian here, but I won't do it with a caveat. I'll straight up say that I think Tampa Bay over Atlanta. That team is scrappy, man. That team is just a thorn in the side of anybody who they go up against. And by far, I think, I sort of had an inkling in my head. You haven't told me all the divisions yet, but I feel like this is probably going to be the most intriguing one out of the ones you're going to list. But I'm going to go Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay on top, followed by Atlanta.
Okay. Now, the East, the Grapefruit League East. You have the world champion Washington Nationals minus Rendon, who of course has gone to the Angels. Right. You have the dirty cheating Astros. You have my beloved New York Mets.
In hell, by the way.
Yeah.
Yep.
You have the St. Louis Cardinals, and you have the Miami Marlins. And this is why I'm drinking the turkey today, because I am really pissed about this realignment. Because I liked the Mets' chances, to be one of the teams in the discussion just because they know the Braves so well. And, I think the Mets this year, especially with no Rendon, could have overtaken Washington. You got the damned Astros in there. St. Louis, who, maybe they'll be a 500 team, but they could always scrap out their way to 90 wins, assuming a 162-game season, of course.
Right.
And Miami, who, they always get better. This is a tough division. They made this division harder for the Mets.
That's a rough one. Oh boy. And I, you know what? And I also we're in the metropolitan area, New York metropolitan area here. Yankees and Mets in the same conference.
Isn't that cool? Like, just for a 1-year one-off, I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so they could end up playing in a championship game long before they ever play again in another World Series.
Absolutely, yeah.
That would be actually, that would be terrible. I think a lot of people would be pissed off about that, actually. Oh, they're playing in a championship series, but we can't see them in a World Series because they're in the same conference this year. Well, how do you feel about it? The Met fan, how do you feel?
Honestly, just because like I was saying before about the NASCAR road race thing, I enjoy the chaos. So I like the fact that we're going to see more than just like 4 regular season games between the Yankees and the Mets, and they'll mean a little bit more within the same conference. I think it's good for interest in the game that things get shaken up once in a while. I'll be happy next year, assuming everything is fine, that we can go back to a normal schedule. But you know what? For 1 year, bring it on. And if that means that the Mets and the Yankees meet in the Grapefruit League Championship instead of the World Series, I'll sign up for that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That just sounds so silly to me. The Grapefruit League Championship.
So I gotta do this. I gotta homer it up a little bit. I gotta call Mets 1, Houston 2.
Ugh.
I'm gonna say St. Louis 3. That's me. It's very biased.
Yeah, but you know what? Based on the list of teams you gave me, why not? I don't see why the Mets. I mean, the Astros provided that. I mean, we'll get into this a little bit later. Is this coronavirus thing going to get Houston kind of off the hot seat a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
That being said, their talent is still there. So I don't see any reason why Houston wouldn't win that division. So I'd have to say Houston 1, Mets 2. But I really think the Mets have every shot in the world to take that one. It's not great once you get outside those two teams.
We'll come back to talk playoffs in a bit. Let's move over to the Cactus League. All right. So we have the Northeast, the Cubs, San Francisco, Arizona, Colorado, and Oakland.
Wow. Well, I feel like Arizona's a much better team this year.
Mm-hmm.
And the Cubs are always so wishy-washy. I'm definitely going to take the Diamondbacks to win. I'm not sure about a number 2, but if you're going to go contrary to me on this, I'd like to hear who you think is challenging the Diamondbacks in this division. But I just see so much potential there. They've been building up for so long. I think that, especially in this kind of climate now, they'd be willing to, they'd be able to go over the top. I'm taking Arizona.
You know what? I'm going to take Oakland. I'm going to take Oakland as 1. And
yeah, they've been hanging in there the past couple of years. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to take Oakland for 1, Arizona for 2. Oakland just always does such a good job doing more with less. And if someone told me defend your pick of the Mets on the other side, it's the same as my defense for Oakland here, even though the Mets go about building their team very differently. Whenever we have truly weird seasons in baseball, it always seems like the Mets do well, Oakland does well. They're those teams that thrive in weirdness. And for that reason, I'm going to go with Oakland in the Northeast.
Oh boy, what a beautiful disaster this all is.
All right, so that brings us to the Cactus League West, where we have the Dodgers, the White Sox, the Reds, the Indians, and the Angels.
I mean, do we even have to disagree on this here?
No, I don't think it's logical for us to disagree. It's the Dodgers.
It's the Dodgers. It's obviously the Dodgers. And it's not even like they shoved anybody else in there to make it close.
No. I'm going to go with the Angels as my number 2, just so I have something to reference later if I want to think about wild card games and stuff, because they keep on picking up big bats out there. They got Rendon, so at some point that's got to pay off, right?
Yeah, I mean, the Angels number 2 is just as reasonable a choice as anybody else there. So we might as well be in sync on something. So let's say Dodgers 1 and Angels 2, and call that one a wash.
All right. Now we've got the Northwest, and this is going to get interesting. The Cactus League Northwest, your remaining 5 major league teams are the Milwaukee Brewers, the San Diego Padres, the Seattle Mariners, the Texas Rangers, and the Kansas City Royals.
Damn. Oh, does anybody really win? Wow, out of that group,
Mm-hmm.
The closest to prominence, I would say, I'm inclined to say Seattle.
Okay.
I just don't. Wow. I mean, I don't have too many reasons for you. I just don't. I can't really see. I mean, that could really go anywhere. That could go in any direction.
For that same logic, I'm going to pick the Brewers. I'm not going to
Yeah.
bother with a number 2 because I feel fairly certain that my wild card is not coming out of this division.
Yeah, I'd be inclined to agree. So yeah, I'll go Mariners. I'll just take a shot in the dark and go Mariners over here.
Getting back to the Grapefruit League, I've got the Yankees, the Braves, and the Mets winning their respective divisions. I'm going to take for my wild card teams Tampa Bay and Houston, and they're going to play in the wild card game. You picked Philly, Tampa, and Houston. Your second place teams were Yankees, Atlanta, and the Mets for your second place teams. So pick 2 of them. Who's your wild card?
Probably Yankees and Atlanta, probably.
Alrighty. Then we go out west to the Cactus League. I had Oakland, the Dodgers, and the Brewers. Let's see. My wild card is going to be the Diamondbacks and the Angels. You had Arizona, the Dodgers, and Seattle. You named the Angels as your second place in the West, and Oakland as your second place in the Northeast. Do you want to hear any of the other clubs, or?
No, I mean those that the wild cards, right?
Yeah,
I'm assuming nothing's coming out of the Northwest.
doesn't seem like it. That's my guess. So here's my bracket. I've got the Yankees with the best record, the Braves with the second best record, the Mets with the third best record, and the Grapefruit. Tampa Bay and Houston. I think the game's at Tampa Bay. I think Tampa wins,
Right.
and they get to play the Yankees. So then it's the Braves and the Mets. You know what? I gotta just go with my heart here. I think logically the Braves might be in a position to beat the Mets, but you know what? The Mets thrive in weirdness. This is a weird season. I'm going to say Yankees and Mets in the Grapefruit League Championship, and I got the Yankees going over them. On the other side in the Cactus League, Dodgers best record, Oakland second, Milwaukee's third. I'm thinking that Arizona has a better record than the Angels, so they host the wild card game. And I think Arizona wins the wild card game. So then it's the Dodgers versus the Diamondbacks, which the Dodgers are going to come out of. Oakland, Milwaukee, which is probably going to be a fun series. I'm going to say Milwaukee wins. And then the Dodgers trounce Milwaukee in like 5 games or whatever. And I think it is finally Yankees-Dodgers in the World Series.
And the one year that nobody wants to see it happen.
No one in New York gets to go to that World Series. No one in Los Angeles gets to go to that World Series. But you know what that's going to do? That's going to put TV ratings through the roof.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So I'm going to say the Dodgers. I'm calling the Dodgers to beat the Yankees, and the Cactus League will reign supreme. All right, so call yours out. First of all, you've got Grapefruit. You've got Philly, Tampa, and Houston. Give me a 1, 2, 3 for their seeding purposes. Who's
Houston? Then it's going to be Philly. Then it's going to be Tampa.
Okay, your wild card game is Yankees and Braves. Who's going to win that?
I'll say the Yankees go over the Braves.
All right, so then your series set up this way. You've got Philly versus Tampa Bay and Yankees versus Houston.
Well, Houston's not cheating anymore, presumably. So So I'll put the Yankees over Houston.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got Phillies and Braves, you said?
Phillies and Rays.
Oh, Rays.
Yeah.
Wow. Damn, that's a hard one. But I'm going to say that the Phillies eat that one out.
All right, so there's another series that people in our area might not ever get to see in their lifetimes, but you've got the Phillies and the Yankees for the Grapefruit League Championship. Who wins that one?
I'm going to say the Yankees go over in that one.
All right, over on the Cactus side of the bracket, you've got Arizona, the Dodgers, and Seattle as your division winners. Who's 1, 2, and 3?
Well, Dodgers, Diamondbacks, Seattle, right?
Okay. All right, your wild card game is Oakland and the Angels.
I say Oakland goes over.
All right, so you've got a series between Oakland and the Dodgers.
Dodgers.
And you've got a series between Arizona and Seattle.
Arizona.
All right, then you've got a series between the Dodgers and Arizona for the Cactus League Championship.
And I say the Dodgers, and I end up with the same World Series as you from the other direction.
Yeah, well, there you go. Nothing we did for the last 20 minutes matters. So in the World Series, Stoney, you've got the Yankees and the Dodgers, and who wins?
You know what? I think that this is too strange of a situation for the Yankees. I think the Dodgers go over and they finally break the curse, the semi-curse they've had for the past couple of years.
Well, there you go.
So we both think the Dodgers are winning the World Series in completely different ways.
We both called Dodgers over Yankees. Yeah. All right. Well, that's our consensus pick. We'll check it out at the end of the season if there's a season to see if how they got there is the same. But we're both saying that the Dodgers are going over the Yankees in the World Series. It is time for cheers, pour one out, and throw the bottle. I got to cheers whoever comes out of the Cactus League Northwest, because congratulations, guys. There is no way in hell you would have made the playoffs if you were not in the Cactus League Northwest. So cheers to you. You won.
Oh, wow. That's a good one. I could have used that one. Who do you cheers in this situation? Jeez. I got to cheers the idea. I mean, this is a really good outside the box way to make the season happen. At least, people need something right now. They need something to watch, to do, to take their mind off of what's going on. And if this could be done safely, where the guys are able to socially distance and sitting in the stands, and if the guys are able to, not get sick from passing that baseball around, everybody's hand's going to be on the baseball. If they're able to keep the players safe and pull this off, I think it's just really great for the morale of the country right now. So cheers to the brain trust, I guess, that came up with this. Because as much as I like to make fun of the grapefruit and cactus thing, it really is an outside-the-box idea. I got to applaud it.
All right, time to pour one out. I am pouring one out for the Baltimore Orioles, because looking at this,
go ahead.
It just doesn't matter how you realign. It was just going to be bad.
It doesn't matter what division you put them in. It doesn't matter who you put them with. They're still the worst team.
I'm pretty sure if they had ended up in the Cactus League Northwest, our discussion would have been, well, anybody can win this except the Orioles. So I'm pouring one out for the Baltimore Orioles, because even in this bizarre cactus grapefruit world, you still suck.
I'm going homer here, man. I feel sorry for the New York sports fan here. I really do. Because you got, you have the Mets, who are possibly going to be able to make some sort of a run at it. I know that they kind of got the odds stacked against them a little worse with this setup. But if the Mets are actually good enough to make a run at it, we know the Yankees are good enough to make a run at it. New York sports fans don't want to see them playing in the championship game. They want to see them playing in the World Series. And then, of course, if the Mets or the Yankees were able to get out of the Grapefruit League and into the quote unquote World Series against a team like the Dodgers, it's what we were talking about earlier, right? Nobody's going to get to go to these games. And I don't really care about the people in Los Angeles. I'm not from Los Angeles. But I'm pouring one out for the New York sports fan, because if both New York teams played flawlessly in this system, you still wouldn't get to go enjoy it.
And feel free to get in on this with me, but there's only one group I can throw the bottle at here, and that's the Houston Astros, because they deserve to have things thrown at them.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with this situation. I think we just want to throw a bottle at the Houston Astros.
You know what else? I'm going to pour one out for you and me, because I'm pouring out an extra one because I just remembered that we had plans the first week of June to go see the Astros at Citi Field just so we could boo them viciously, and we're not going to get to do that now.
No, we're not going to get to do that. That's absolutely true. And God forbid that the Astros should make it to the Grape Cactus Championship, and then we got to sit through that nonsense.
All right.
And watch them beat the Dodgers again. So yeah, I think throw the bottle. Anybody who's got a bottle, if you see the Houston Astros, just chuck it at them.
Amen to that. Well, I think that's going to set us up nicely to record our next session here, which is going to be all about the dirty, cheating Houston Astros. So until we post that video, thanks for listening to this one. He's Tony.
And he's the law.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers. Bye, folks.